Hey guys, welcome back to another ride. We got a new update yet again, 25.20.3. There's nothing reported for FSD, but let's see if it has any improvements or if it acts any different. Let's go. This is going to be a quick highway test, about 20 minutes or so. I'm going to take over here. I don't like going to the right here. Never want to take that road. It's really bad on the suspension. Okay. Nice and slow roll down the hill, rolling up to the speed bump. About 6 or 7 miles an hour. It's very good. That's what it usually is. Excellent. Slow down at the stop sign. I did notice something a little bit different in this particular version. Usually when I start from a parking spot, it pulls out a little bit and then hesitates no matter whether there's cars coming or not. It just hesitates and stops. It's a pretty abrupt stop, but it didn't do that this time around. It's another speed bump. We're down to 7 miles. Excellent. The acceleration is very smooth, very comfortable. Let's see if it picks up this weird sign here. No, good. I'm just going to bump up the speed here to 25. That's the speed limit on this road. This is a fairly new road, but it should be on the maps, like speed limit sign. Let's see. This right turn usually it also stutters on this right turn, so it'll start making the right turn, and then regardless if the car's coming or not, it'll stop. There's nobody coming from the left. It stops gently. All right, yeah, it's a little bit better than before. Let's see if it picks up the correct speed limit. It does not. So the speed limit on this road is 35. So I'm going to set the max speed to 40. Then let the car increase. Also in previous versions, it would drive over the yellow. And it's still doing that. So it's driving on the yellow line to make this turn. Not sure why it does that. It started about 3 versions ago. It's still doing it. Oh, good. We'll get to test how it acts around these shadows on the road from the power lines. Sometimes it freaks out when it sees shadows on the street. It tries to pull over in the opposite traffic. Yep. See, you see the noodle moving around. It's bouncing around, trying to move over to avoid these shadow lines from. Yeah, it's recognizing these shadow lines as like road lines, and it tries to move over to avoid them. It's not going to be as pronounced, I think, in this ride because we have cars in front of us, so I'm sure that those cars are telling it that it's okay to drive over these lanes, but you can see on the visualization that it keeps trying to draw road lines where they don't exist based on the shadows of the power lines above. Let's see how somebody stopping here to pull into the quick check to the left. Doing a really good job going around them. No hesitation whatsoever. Just feels like the car knows exactly what to do in that particular situation. And we're stopping for the red light here. It's probably going to be a while because we got this truck in front of us. So quite a big deal in the news. Yesterday, officially, someone in Austin spotted a RoboTaxi. It actually had the RoboTaxi logo on the side, and you could tell that there was no driver in the driver's seat. There was a passenger, and then there was also a chase car behind it. So they're doing some serious testing, trying to dial everything in before they go live. Elon did report that the tentative date is June 22nd for them to actually start collecting paid rides. So we'll see how that. But he did say that the date is fluid because they're trying to be super crazy about safety and make sure that everything's gonna go smoothly for the first few cars. We're making our right turn. This is on green. Does recognize this truck. Moves right over and passes it with no problem. So, which is amazing. I did see some other posts that somebody caught some pictures of the same RoboTaxi driving around at night as well. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be limited just to daytime or any particular hours. It looks like it's going to be a 24-hour service with, the first 10 cars or so that they're going to put out on in the first day or two or a week. We don't know many details. And also there's a contest for a video contest for a Tesla commercial, 90-second video that you can submit to win a Model Y and the tour of the Texas Gigafactory. The second and third place also win the tour, but no Model Y. So if you are, a video editing connoisseur, definitely jump in and try it out and see if you can win the Model Y. Somebody's going to drive off with that thing. So I'm going to try to put together a video myself and see how well I do. This is an excellent stop here. We're just waiting for the light to turn green. So far, the smoothness is definitely noticeably improved, especially on turns and pulling out of parking spots. So I feel like even though they don't, they don't have updates for FSD specifically, they like sprinkle in some changes whenever they do these like dot release updates. In this new update, there's some toggling between the rear view camera where you could do the regular angle or wide angle. And there was one more thing that I'm not recalling right now. I'm going to be coming up to our traffic light here. We'll be going a little bit faster just to make the traffic light, but it's keeping great speed between me and the truck in front of me. Good slow down. Excellent left turn. Let's see if it's going to be affected by any of the shadows of the wires on this road. Nothing yet. So it's really only affected by the actual shadows of the cables, not by shadows of trees or anything like that. I think it recognizes that those are just shadows based on their shape and size and stuff. But no, we're kind of... And Elon also did say that there's a new version that's rolling out. And the one that they're using for RoboTaxis is a new version. So I suspect it's going to be version 14. I'm not sure what dot release it'll be, but it'll probably be version 14. And then he said in a couple of months or by the end of the year, we'll get a newer version of the model, which is going to be 4 times the size of the context window. So that should significantly improve the amount of data that the car can take in to understand its surroundings. So we'll see how well that does. And I wanted to ask you guys if you have any ideas for what we should do with this YouTube channel. once the Robo taxis are just perfectly driving around. Who wants to watch a video of just Robo taxi perfectly driving around without any interventions for the 100th time? So, give me some ideas below. Did pick up the 50 mile an hour speed limit, and then instantly started speeding up comfortably to a little bit over, which is fine. It's a very comfortable speed on this road. I mean, mostly in New Jersey, nobody really drives the actual speed limit. It's always like 5 to 10 miles over the speed limit, especially on faster roads like this. But so far, I'm very impressed with the ride. Yeah, if you guys didn't see the previous video, definitely check it out. I had like a teenager cut me off trying to pull into a quick check from the left lane across. There's a 2-lane road from the left lane across my lane and try to shoot for the parking lot entrance. And FSD handled it really well. So if you want to check out that scenario, just make sure you watch the previous video. Kind of curious to find out what you guys' expectations are for the Robo taxi, how fast it's going to expand in Austin, and will it just be at 10 cars, 20 cars, 50 cars, 100 cars like they're predicting? Or do you think it's going to be a slower rollout where just going to be 10 cars for a month or so just for them to work out all the kinks? And I still don't quite understand how they're handling the charging. If it's gonna if they're using one of their service centers as like a depot to clean the cars and handle charging. We don't really have a whole lot of information about that. I don't know if it's using the Gigafactory or like a local, service center. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. There's a lot of unknowns. So I'll be curious how they're going to work this out. Because I think they're going to end up having to use the service centers in order to clean the cars and charge them and things like that. But, I mean, like, if you have a bunch of cars on the road working, then how are they going to have enough people? Like, if I'm talking about when they allowed us, the regular folks, add our car to the network. Like, I'm just trying to think through the logistics of how that's going to work with the cars, so many cars on the road, and how they're going to deal with cleaning all of them. Because I'm not sure if they're just going to be like, oh, you're responsible for cleaning your own car. So when it's time to charge the car and clean the car, it'll come back to the owner, or if Tesla's going to do that piece for the owners, and then they're going to return the car in the same condition that they basically got it when you put it into service. And, it's going to be interesting. Also, I'm looking forward to finding out about the new models that they're possibly releasing. There's some talks of German version of new Model Y with 7 seats that will fit the 7 adult passengers and all their luggage. So if we assume like a 35 kilo suitcase for each person, so there'll be 7 suitcases and 7 people. It would be interesting if they're doing a longer version of a Model Y, which is going to be, like a foot or 2 feet longer, maybe like a wider wheelbase with maybe a bigger battery. So we don't know. There's a lot of unknowns because the last older version of the Model Y, it wasn't really conducive for the third row seating. I've checked it out, and like basically the seats were for kids. Anyone that's like an average adult would have to have their knees in their chests in that third row. So let's see how it handles this construction zone. Previous versions have always changed lanes here, so we'll see if that has had any improvements. Because you're not really supposed to change lanes with solid lines. So far, so good. We're sticking to our lane. We're going 56 and a 50. I did pick up the correct speed limit. It's actually showing the correct speed limit on the screen, as opposed to before it would stay with the 65-mile-an-hour speed limit, but still drive the correct speed with the rest of the cars around. There we go. It switched to 65 miles an hour, even though there was no speed limit signs or anything. And it did change lanes, so I went back to its old ways. So it changed lanes on the solid, and it is illegal in New Jersey, so if the cop sees you doing that, it's definitely a reason for them to pull you over. So it saw the speed limit of 50, and it changed the speed limit, but it did not drop the speed for some reason. It's still doing 70 miles an hour, even though this is supposed to be like a 50-mile-an-hour work zone. So I guess we just have to drive till the next speed limit to get, once it sees the 65. There we go. Nope, I guess not. It's definitely using map data, because there was no speed limits signs around us, so it's using like arbitrary map data to tell it how fast it should be going. We're doing 75 and the 65, which is the max set. And that's kind of how I set my maximum speed. I'm on the standard profile. I set my maximum speed based on like 65 miles an hour, and then like to go 10 miles over the speed limit. So that's 15% offset. So that's what I set my speed offset to 15%. And it's worked really well. As you can see, the car is driving with the flow of traffic, and nobody's going to stop you for going 10 miles over the speed limit on the highway. So it's kind of a safe cushion. I mean, they could technically, because you're still going over the speed limit, but the officers on the highway, like the New Jersey State Police, they don't really bother vehicles that are going 10 miles over or under. A little bit ways away from our exit here. It's not this one, it's the next exit. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below. This markings here, it shows like a little different outlet. It shows 6 of them. Is that like a third-party charger or something? I'm not really familiar with that icon. It started popping up for me a while back, but I haven't had the chance to drive over there and see what that's all about. It almost feels like a slower destination charger, if I had to guess, but if you can confirm that to me in the comments, that'd be amazing. It's doing a really good job staying in the center lane. We're on standard mode. But that's basically how the modes work. Standard will keep you in the center lane unless you need to pass somebody going too slow. And then if you go to hurry mode, you'll just stay in the left lane for the most part. And then if you go to chill mode, you'll just be in the right lane for the most part. So you can think of this like little highway scenario to understand how it's going to drive on the different modes. doing a really good job sticking to like almost max speed. I think before it would just be hovering around like 71, 72, so it's closer to 5 miles an hour. But today it's sticking to that max speed pretty close. Now we're about a mile away from the exit, so it should start pre-staging somewhere around here. I do like that it pre-stages way in advance now. And now that I said that, it may not do that because it's trying to pass this truck. Sneak in before this truck for exit. About 1.3 miles away. Alright, it's going to go in front of this truck. And we're starting to slow down for our exit. 0.1 miles. Still coming in at 70. I would have thought it would have slowed down a little bit more, but it is using this shoulder length to slow down nicely. Excellent job coming into the turn. This is like a sharp left here. It is going a little bit too fast for my flavor, but it did drop the speed by 10 miles, and I barely felt it. That's incredible. I think you can do that. There's a yield sign, so we got our own entrance lane to this road. Moving over, as this lane ends to the right. It looks like we got green, so we're just gonna go for it. So far, the ride's very relaxing. Like, besides me, like, thinking about, how to describe this ride best to you, I'm not really worried about the driving piece of it. It's very comfortable, very natural. There hasn't been any moments where I'm just like super uncomfortable with what the car's doing or anything like that. It's getting to be pretty solid over and over again. Like with every ride, I'm building up the confidence of understanding of what the car's going to do when and how it's going to react. There were some map issues in the previous, prior to this update, so that whenever there's a red light at this one particular intersection, it tries to take the exit right before it and then pop back on to like it almost tries to avoid the red light basically. But I suspect it's a map issue, because if I'm pulling up to that intersection in the far left lane, then it doesn't do anything. But if I'm pulling up to that intersection in the right hand lane, then it tries to do that exit. And usually takes longer to take that exit and then get back on the road than just to wait for the light. I tried letting it do it, and it just gets all confused and takes forever because it's got to navigate with a bunch of traffic on the right side of the intersection. So it's not practical. But it's been doing it for the past couple of versions, so I'll see on the way back if we're going to go that way and see how it reacts in that intersection. Excellent, excellent. Very smooth ride. It still doesn't avoid potholes. As you can see, we're hitting every pothole on the way. But other than that, it does a really good job. Our final left turn here. And we've made it to our destination. We're just gonna turn in here. So it never knows where to go because the point's to the right here, but sometimes it goes straight, sometimes it makes the right. So you never know what it's going to do. I'll just hit the parking, see how well that works. Sometimes it has to correct itself way too many times. It doesn't do a good job to just commit and go for it. And also, we haven't heard anything about any summon features. I like this little icon that they put in the middle here. I haven't noticed that before, where it shows you which cameras it's looking at. Oh, and that button was there. Let me put it in reverse. Here's the little button, so you could have a zoomed in view, or you can have a wide view. I prefer the wide view. That's what's in this new 24.20.3 update. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified when the new video comes out. Take care of yourself, your family, and have a great day.